Unwitting American citizens and the citizens of other nations are facing a destabilization operation, one designed to bring down the existing world governments and to institute a one-world government fascist dictatorship in its place. Hello, friends. The U.S. intelligence agencies, in conjunction with DARPA, Stanford Research Institute, Los Alamos National Laboratory, and companies like Raytheon and Lockheed, have set up a counterinsurgency war that is taking place on a worldwide basis, aimed at potential enemies such as political activists and whistleblowers. These targets are generally people with a very high IQ who are capable of influencing the people around them, as well as having a history of political activism. This counterinsurgency war that is being waged against these individuals is portrayed as a type of a stalking game, the most dangerous game, perhaps called Watch Him Run, or some such game, that is taking place on the internet so that people can observe the targets using DARPA-created tracking technology, GPS technology, and RFID that follows the target everywhere they go, in their home, their car, their place of work, or even in cross-continental travel, anywhere on the surface of the earth. There is nowhere that the targets can escape this game, the stalking game. These people who are being tormented have been portrayed as criminals. However, the opposite is the case. The targets of torture and intimidation and destruction, the good guys. This tracking game relies on attacks using microwave weapons as well as organized stalking to make the life of the target a living hell, to where they eventually succumb physically and die from the effects of non-ionizing radiation, or due to the extensive and never-ending torture they are forced to commit suicide. The target experiences physical attacks on their body. Microwave weapons are placed in close proximity to where they live and where they work, and are even placed in their cars if necessary. These miniaturized electronic devices, in essence antennas, are capable of tracking and attacking the target with microwave frequency that can deliver shocks, stabs, or subdermal burns to their physical bodies in a continuous manner, or perhaps every few minutes. Their body experiences internal heating and burns, sleep disruption, sleep deprivation as a primary tactic to slowly break them down. These types of physical attacks are complemented with attacks on the mind of the subject. Dr. Jose Delgado perfected the use of a brain-to-computer-to-brain feedback loop so that he was able to give a continuous stimulus and response type signal to his patients. This is exactly what is used to attack the target. Their EEG is hit with an antenna. It causes an interference pattern. This is downloaded and demodulated to capture the target's EEG in real time on a computer. This EEG pattern is then stimulated with responses from the computer such that their moods or their thoughts can be controlled as one would shock a mouse as it moves through a maze in order to control the direction that it moves in. These types of attacks on the mind of the target are insidious and terrifying. These broadcasts can broadcast fear or anger or other negative emotions at the target, as well as making them see imagery such as physical mutilation, or the torture and murder of adults and children, and other negative imagery to stimulate a sense of victimization with the target. Microwave hearing was perfected by Dr. Alan Fry in 1958. This technology is used to attack the target with a continuous stream of negative verbal messages, death threats, and negative verbal taunts and curses that in effect fill their ears entirely through all their waking hours. This technique was perfected by CIA psychiatrist Dr. Ewan Cameron. He termed it psychic driving. This is used to slowly crowd out the inner dialogue of the target and to break down their personality, termed depatterning. These technologies are terrifying and slowly destroy the consciousness and the purposeful thoughts and behaviors of the target. In effect, a terrifying form of behavior modification and manipulation of the target. If this type of torture was not maddening enough, organized gangstalking is utilized to further traumatize the target. Large groups of individuals are participating in this tracking stalking game of these targets, several thousand of which reside in the United States alone. These targets are tracked by the organized gangstalkers using their cell phones or the internet. In effect, they are able to locate the target at all times within a foot of their actual location anywhere on Earth. The organized gangstalkers have been shown video that portrays the targets in a negative light in order to discredit the target, as well as to motivate the stalkers into using verbal assaults, as well as even physical assaults and harassment within the community to drive the target out of the community and perhaps to force them to commit suicide without ever laying a hand on them. The average target is being assaulted both physically and verbally at all times in a way that they cannot discern who is doing this to them, nor can they block this using any type of Faraday cage or other electronic device to interfere with these signals. When this target attempts to go to the store or go to work or go out to public, the organized gangstalkers are waiting for them. Some of these people do this for small transfer payments. Other stalkers do this merely for the enjoyment of tormenting and hunting another human being and receiving a psychological high, as well as being part of a larger group. They are told that they are helping the police. However, there is nothing lawful about these antisocial acts that they all engage in. Typically, the organized stalking gangs will follow the target into stores or into their place of work or anywhere in the community. They will in effect surround them at a restaurant sitting at nearby tables and begin to say inappropriate things to them. The target walking down the street perhaps will be cursed by total strangers who may stand in front of them and block their path, spit right in front of them, physically invade their space and bump into them on purpose in a manner that is indistinguishable from that of an accident. When the target is alone, these stalkers are very brazen and will go right up to them and curse them and say the same negative things, the keywords that are being used in the microwave broadcasts. The organized stalkers are given clues how to verbally harass the target, such that what is said to them in public by total strangers is exactly more or less what is said to them through the microwave hearing attacks. These are attacks on their hygiene, their appearance, their intellect, verbal assaults that are designed to make the target feel victimized and be stuck in a cycle of fear, anger, and retaliation that neutralizes them and slowly drives them from the community and from the company of other people, and instilling a fear of going out in public. These types of organized gangstalking groups are in effect everywhere. These people are given gas money, small amounts of money for participating, while other organized stalkers do this full-time and are paid normal salaries, in effect, to professionally harass other citizens. This nightmare that the target experiences of running the gauntlet wherever they go, as well as being physically attacked at all times of the day and night, as well as having their conscious internal dialogue crowded out with a constant verbal stream of cursing and death threats. This hellacious program is designed to slowly degrade and eventually to destroy the target in a way that is completely plausibly deniable.
The Vietnam War was the formative experience for a generation of CIA and military intelligence personnel involved in the Phoenix program. They viewed the military defeat in Vietnam as a betrayal on the home front, a loss of will by domestic political enemies, not a military failure against a nationalistic revolution fought as a guerrilla war. The Phoenix program, assassinating suspected VC sympathizers in a systematic manner, worked well and is the blueprint for the current black operation targeting thousands of loyal Americans using state-of-the-art microwave and radio frequency radiation weapons. The motivation to suppress domestic dissidents and to assassinate loyal American opposition stems from the perception of dissent against the war as treason. This philosophy is stated very clearly in the Mind War paper written by NSA General Michael Aquino. The Department of Defense has a huge stake in futuristic technology that kills by ionizing and non-ionizing radiation, leaving little or no trace. The indiscriminate killing of the Phoenix program continues on American soil. The terms soft kill, slow kill, and silent kill refer to the new way of killing the enemy in conflicts short of war and the small wars of the future. The counterinsurgency doctrine has now been applied to the home front so that the perceived betrayal of the military in Vietnam will not be repeated. The generation of CIA and military intelligence led by Shackley, Helms, Casey, Abrams, Singlab, Secord, John B. Alexander, Michael Aquino, Paul Vallely, and others have built the perfect beast, using selective assassination that leaves no trace. The ability to cull the human herd with silent kill technology allows a few personalities to remake the entire society in their own image. Extremely low frequency technology slowly drives the target crazy with silent sound, similar to the CIA MKUltra psychiatrist Ewan Cameron's psychic driving technique used to break down the target's personality. The new buzzwords at the Pentagon are synthetic telepathy and psychotronics. Another means of attack on targets is the Smirnov patent that uses subliminal suggestion to manipulate human behavior. This patent was purchased by the remote viewing company Scitech Corporation. Military intelligence officers involved in developing these non-lethal weapons include Alexander, Aquino, Puthoff, and others, also control Scitech. Emotional manipulation is accomplished using Dr. Michael Persinger's work to remotely project emotional states that the brain entrains or locks onto and emulates. One can broadcast rage or fear at an individual target to manipulate and control them. As if these methods were not enough to torture and murder people, add to this nightmarish toolbox active gangstalking. CIA-created cults and other cause-oriented groups are used to induce further trauma in the target by actively harassing them in public in a neutralization technique described in counterintelligence operations manuals that are aimed at enemy agents. In the race to develop a new weapon, it has always been necessary to test it on human beings. Perfecting the latest weapons designed to kill slowly and silently, as well as perfecting the process of controlling the human mind, are no different. Once the weaponry has been perfected on these few thousand people, the same techniques will be applied en masse to the general population, and then to humanity as a whole.